Don't worry. No one will hurt you.
Are you sure? Are you really sure?
Hey guys, welcome back to Seduce Me the Otome. So let's continue. As soon as I got into my room, a wave of exhaustion hit me. Why am I so tired all of a sudden? I just woke up from that nap. I dragged myself to my bed and hauled up one of my bags. I opened it and grabbed my economics book, knowing that no matter how tired I was, I had to study at least a page or two before sleeping at last. The words on the page scrambled in my mind as I read through them, but after 2 or 3 tries, I managed to understand what the page was about. Ugh, equations. Finally, I decided to change into my pajamas and head to bed. Today had been a long day and I needed the rest. Hopefully, tomorrow will be better. 3 days of surprises in a row would kill me. With that thought in my mind, I drifted to sleep, embracing the darkness of slumber.
You fucking pretty boys think you're all that, huh? Well, save that to the end of my pistol.
You know, that's really starting when you're wearing headphones. What? I couldn't move my body. I felt like I was tied up and couldn't see anything beyond the darkness that surrounded me. Yet I could hear the sounds of a heated argument coming at me from all directions.
One move and she gets it.
Chill, dude. Chill.
Let her go!
Matthew?
Come on, chicken shit. Fight us like a real man.
There is some adult language going on here.
Like you scare me, Sam. Come on. Take one step. I dare
Get him. Why can't I see?
Stay away from her,
Oh,
Malix!
your name is Malik.
And what are you gonna do, nerd
Ooh,
boy?
shots fired. Suddenly, I felt myself pulled to one side and arms wrapped around my body protectively.
I've got you. Don't worry.
I forgot which one you are. As I was held in a tight embrace, I felt the world around me once again settle into a low, peaceful hum. The hostility of the dream before had faded into black as the arms around me rocked me comfortingly. Slowly, though, my eyes fluttered open and I looked up at the person holding me. Damian? I stared into the eyes of Damian. His face was painted with worry and concern, and I knew he must have seen my dream. Why did I dream of Eric holding me, though? I forgot which one Eric is.
You can't control your dreams.
Well, I don't think most people can.
Are you okay?
Other than the really freaky laughing. Yeah, sure.
It's 9 a.m. James and I were making breakfast when I,
Looked into my mind.
No, not yet at least. I hope to learn eventually, though.
Is everything alright?
I just had a really freaky dream about some guy named Alex, like, screaming at me.
That's good. I'm assuming you had a nightmare.
I guess of sorts.
You didn't disturb us, miss. Besides, we'd rather make sure you're okay before anything.
Thanks, James.
Now, why don't you come downstairs with us and have some breakfast? I'm sure some nice food will take your mind off of what you dreamt of.
Food helps everything. Couldn't exactly read their minds. The 2 boys led me back to the dining room where the smell of bacon and eggs danced in the air. The smell wafted from the kitchen and made its way into the room, making my stomach growl in need. Breakfast smells good. Although there's never actually food on the table.
Soon. If you want to sit down at the table, you can.
I don't need your permission.
Morning. You alright?
I don't like you. Sam, the owner of the hand on my head, raised an eyebrow at me before rustling my hair and moving away to sit down at the table. He then barked towards the kitchen where James was working.
Hey! Is the food done yet? I'm starving!
You make
There's no need to yell,
a
Sam!
terrible significant other.
You're yelling too!
Don't argue with me!
That's a sound argument right there. From behind me, Eric appeared and sat beside me, rubbing his temples in obvious annoyance.
Can we not yell this early in the morning? It's not like we're in the castle.
Might as well be. For some reason, when I heard the word castle, I couldn't help but yell in surprise. These guys had a castle? Sam looked at me and smirked at my reaction.
Yeah, we have a castle back home. Our dining room's 10 times bigger than
It
this
must
room.
echo really loud.
Wouldn't it be logical to not yell?
Whatever.
James and Damian appeared, hands full of plates that carried bacon, eggs, toast, and waffles. They placed the plates down by each seat before seating themselves.
My favorite.
Finally.
Thank you for the breakfast. Looks amazing.
It's our pleasure.
Hello?
Hey, good morning.
What's up?
Guess who's at your door right now?
Oh.
I'll get it.
Well, I instantly jumped out of my chair and rushed out of the dining room. As I passed through the archway between the dining room and lobby, I saw Matthew reach his hand for the brass door handle, causing the world to go into slow motion. Matthew, don't! But before my words could reach its ears, Matthew would open the door and reveal the surprised faces of Naomi and Suzu. Who did you think it was going to be? The world around me stopped as Suzu and Naomi kept their eyes on Matthew, who merely stared back in fear and embarrassment. I could feel the air go warm to freezing in a matter of seconds.
Hi?
I could not believe this was happening. How was I going to explain this? The week was already bad enough. To make matters worse, I was frozen in place. Please, for God's sake, someone do something other than stand here.
Who are you?
Let me explain. You see, there's just, was it 7? I think 5 to 7 incubi in my house, and they're going to live here. And I'm trying to choose which one I want to be in my husband army, but I'm not entirely sure yet. I originally thought it was going to be James because I'm power hungry and he seemed like the leader, but he's getting a little bit annoying. I know I don't like Edgelord. I'm not sure about Flower Boy, and Filler Boy, who is Damian, is a little weird. I don't like how he reads my mind, but other than that's about all that's going on.
What's going on here?
Who's at the door, Matthew?
Everyone just comes out. Soon the other incubi appeared in the lobby with us. The situation was not going pretty. I had to think fast. They're visitors.
Then why did one of them open the door?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
It's no use. There's no time to lie to them. I felt helpless. Then I felt a hand on my shoulder and felt the tension in my body almost fade away. I turned my head to see James smile at me before stepping in front.
We must apologize, ladies. We know this situation must be confusing for everyone. Let's take this to the dining room and we'll explain.
Oh God, you're not gonna seduce them, are you? Before I knew it, I was led to the dining room along with Suzu and Naomi and sat across from their confused gazes. As Naomi and Suzu sat down, Eric and Matthew placed their untouched plates of food in front of them, surprising their guests.
Whoa, this looks amazing!
Thank you.
Our pleasure, ladies. We hope you enjoy your meals.
Make sure you dig in!
I looked at Naomi and Suzu as they began to eat, visibly enjoying every bite they placed in their mouth. Hopefully the food would ease their minds for whatever James wanted to reveal. As soon as Naomi and Suzu ate their impromptu meals, James and the other boys stood behind my chair, making me grow more red in the face.
So, Anderson, are you gonna tell us what's going on?
Okay, well, I may have acquired harem in the past few days. Gently, James Bland placed a hand on my shoulder again, signaling me to just eat my food. As I began to eat, he spoke to Naomi and Suzu.
We are Miss Anderson's house servants. We were hired by her late grandfather to help around the mansion, but since he has passed, we now assist Miss Anderson with living on her own.
Grandpa had good taste.
That makes sense. It's such a huge house.
A huge house for a wonderful princess such as Miss Anderson deserves the greatest of servants to care for it.
Well,
But why are you all dressed so casually and stuff? Aren't servants supposed to have uniforms or whatever?
Well, Miss Anderson allows us to get comfy while we work, so she lets us wear casual clothes.
Yeah, something like that.
We're sorry if we made this situation awkward earlier.
We're very sure that Miss Anderson is also still getting used to having us as her servants. It would be very hard to explain after just a day.
I guess.
So, if I may ask, what brings you two ladies here?
Well, we wanted to see how our friend was doing. Since it's the weekend and all, usually we hang out and just chill.
Yeah, like going to the arcade and stuff.
Or the Pink Lady
I want to
Cafe.
go to the Pink Lady Cafe.
There's an arcade?
And an arcade.
That makes a lot of sense, ladies. Well, we don't wish to disturb you any further than we have, so we'll take our leave and start preparing the house.
Huh? Preparing for what?
We gotta prep the house for some sort of housewarming party.
I told you
thing.
he was going to throw lots of parties.
Our princess's parents requested a housewarming party to be held here soon.
By soon, I mean tonight.
Oh, well, I guess we can help out or something. Right, Naomi?
I thought you wanted to go to the arcade.
This housewarming thing is more important.
No need. We can handle it. If you'd like to, miss, you can go out with your friends while we handle
What
things
happened to
here.
your eyes, James?
Seriously?
Sam, not now.
Well, I wanted to help out, but at the same time, I wanted to go out with my friends. James gave me a look of understanding, letting me know that if I left, everything would be okay. I had to make a decision. It would be good to separate from them a little bit. I want to go to the Pink Lady Cafe.
Miss.
We'll have everything done for you by the time you return
This should be
home.
good.
All right, we'll wait here while you go get your things.
I was strangely relieved to know that everything was going to be okay while I was gone from the house. I trusted the guys enough to do everything they could for this house party, so my mind focused itself on hanging out with my friends. Eventually, I was out the door, walking towards Naomi's car with Naomi and Suzu. Suzu grabbed the entire back seat as I took the passenger side. Naomi started the car and drove off towards the city. It was nice driving out with just my friends. After all that had happened, it was good to just go out and forget my troubles.
Well, since we got you out of the house, we might as well go to the mall and walk around a bit. We did just eat breakfast after all.
Yeah, that was a good meal though.
Could have had more flavor, in my opinion.
Suzu, you eat chili peppers when you're bored. Everything you eat always needs more flavor.
You just need to eat spicy food all the time. You gotta tame your mouth.
Tame your mouth? Really, Suzu?
Sounds difficult.
Anyways, after the mall, what do you want to do? We could go to the Pink Lady Cafe and chill out with Kay.
But we have to stop by the arcade. They have this new game out called Orion. You get to control this guy named Isaku, and you're part of the rebel forces, and you get to shoot things, and there's robots, and...
Sheesh, we get it, Suzu, we get it. We'll go to the arcade.
Hey man, arcades are fun.
I'd rather go in the late afternoon. She has better options during the last hour of the cafe.
So basically after the arcade?
You figured me out so quickly, Patterson.
What did I tell you about using my last name?
Well, let's go to the cafe, because I want to see what the pink... Oh, this is very pink. We hit the mall and walked around a bit, as we planned, before driving over to the Pink Lady Cafe. It was a small, home-style cafe with a lot of pink. And when I say a lot of pink, I mean a lot of pink. The cafe was crowded, but we definitely caught Kay's attention as we walked in.
Hey, girls, hey! Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see you! Have a seat, I'll be with you in a minute, okay?
And there she is, as busy as usual.
Told you we should have gone to the arcade first.
Naomi glared at Suzu for leading us to a table to sit at. Suzu sat across from me as Naomi sat to my side. After a couple of seconds of settling into our seats, Kay slid into the empty fourth seat with a smile.
So, how's everything been?
Pretty crazy.
Life's always crazy with you. But I can tell Suzu's not happy to be here. That kind of breaks my heart, you know.
Suzu smirked and gently punched Kay in the shoulder, making Kay laugh. Naomi and I chuckled at the sight. Kay and Suzu were like sisters, wild and crazy. However, Kay didn't have any known relatives, so it was always nice to see her connect with Suzu.
How about you, Naomi? Have you figured out your problems?
No, and now's not the time to talk
What's
about
going
them,
on, Naomi?
Naomi keeping secrets from us? That's a first.
She holds more than secrets.
Do you have a harem too?
You guys!
Don't worry about Naomi. You can tell us in your own time. Naomi stared at me briefly before smiling in relief and happiness.
Thanks.
Kay giggled as Suzu rolled her eyes and groaned. Eventually, the four of us just started to chat and talk about random events that happened to us. I decided not to speak about the voids and just focus on school. Truly though, it was relaxing to feel somewhat human again, without thinking about incubi or anything of that sort. Simple young adult problems were already enough for me to handle. We eventually lost track of the time and wound up staying longer than we expected, making us unable to stop at the arcade before going home to dress for the housewarming party. Kay, as much as she wanted to come, had other plans, but she wished us the best. The hour of the house party had arrived. In my mind, I kept double and triple checking the essentials for the party. Knowing my dad, he invited his business parties and the executives to the Anderson Company to show me off. Why would you invite executives to a housewarming party thrown by a high school senior? I never know. I stood in front of the mirror in my room, staring at my form at a million thoughts surrounding my mind. It was just a housewarming party, but at the same time it wasn't. It was my chance to show my dad that I was better than his expectations. It was a chance for me to see my parents to see me as a woman. It was my test to see if I was really ready to live on my own. I wasn't, but for some reason, they were pushing that I should. A knock on the door broke my thoughts, surprising me. Who is it?
Hey, are you okay in there? Your parents should be here soon, so you should hurry getting ready.
Do you have something over your mouth?
But what? I'm sure you look fine, Anderson. Just come on out.
Is this the big reveal? Am I gonna look really cool? As soon as I opened the door to the hall, I watched as Naomi and Suzu's faces turned from smiles to complete awestruck stares. Oh, I have a
Dude, you look
sassy
hot.
dress on.
Yeah, you look amazing. Where did you get that dress?
I've had it for a while. I just never had the chance to wear it. I figured I might as well bring it out now. I stepped out of my room and closed my bedroom door behind me. As I walked down the halls of the grand lobby, the incubi stood waiting for me at the bottom, all dressed to the nines as proper servants. I like how they're color-coded.
They really know how to dress well, don't they?
Where'd you get the tuxedos? I was slightly taken aback on how great the boys looked in uniform. Each had the poise of a perfect gentleman, even Sam. I slowly began to climb down the steps with Suzu and Naomi behind me. The boys watched as I descended the staircase one step at a time, like knights waiting for their princess. I felt my face slightly flush, but I quickly shook my head and tried to regain my thoughts. As I reached the last step, James offered his hand out to me and walked me down that final step, smiling.
As beautiful as a princess, miss.
Thanks, James.
So, are you prepared for tonight?
Not really. I couldn't deny that I was nervous, but I had to try. This party was more than what it seemed, and I had done all that I could prepare for it. Now it was all up to fate. The other boy smiled assuringly at me, which made me feel a little better about everything. I looked at my phone and marked the time. Almost right on cue, the doorbell rang. I gulped. I could practically feel my dad's aura from behind the door. Sam and Eric quickly rushed to the door and opened the double doors wide to reveal my parents, both dressed in their best. Hey, Mom. Hey, asshole.
Oh my, I didn't know your bequeathment came with servants.
Oh, yes.
It was probably overlooked. Besides, who would deny good service?
I have a whole harem of incubi at my service. I was completely shocked. My parents didn't question the boys. They didn't even ask for verification or anything. I looked at the boys and noticed Sam and Eric staring intently at my parents. Were they using their powers on them? They had to be. There was no way they'd be okay with this otherwise.
I guess the servants counted as belongings to the house.
My mother quickly rushed to me and gave me a large hug. I hugged her back, inhaling her perfume. It had only been a couple days, but living away from the ones who raised me was hard. My mother soon let me go and looked at my outfit.
Gorgeous. You look so lovely. David, look at your daughter and tell her I'm right.
I looked at my dad. He was still looking around the lobby like an inspector. I stood my ground waiting for him to look at me. When he did, he let a small smile grace his lips.
Your mother's right. You look like you're all grown
I'm
up.
only 18. Please, leave me alone.
I assume that you're ready, then, to impress the rest of the guests, correct?
What do you mean?
The entire board from Anderson Toys is coming tonight. Even the vice chairman's son will be coming. All of them will be measuring your potential.
Well, I already have a harem of incubi and a humongous mansion, and I obviously have good taste in dresses, so I don't know what else you'll need from me.
To become CEO of the company.
Oh, of course. I knew it. Something was up about tonight, and now this party had become much more than I anticipated. I gulped silently, but I nodded in response. I looked at the incubi, but they were continuing to be servants for my father's approval. I looked behind me and saw Naomi and Suzu raise their thumbs at me for encouragement. I let out a small breath before feeling my body accept the situation. I felt a weight in my gut, but I had to hide it. As the time zoomed forward, all of a sudden, the main hall of the lobby was full of guests. Men and women in formal or business attire showed up to meet me and see my new home. I didn't expect many to come, but I was once again surprised that night. I shook hands with many officials and executive members, putting on the professional face my dad trained me to have. I felt overwhelmed, but I hid it well behind a small smile and a handshake. Many even asked me questions. I tried my best to reply as maturely as possible. I had to remember, say what they want to hear, not what you want to say.
So, how do you feel living on your own at such a young age?
It's pretty great. What's very mature?
I'm so sorry
Oh.
about your grandfather passing away. It really hit all of us hard.
Thank you for your condolences.
Do you have college plans?
Yes, I do.
What do you think will happen with the company now that your grandfather has...
It will get back on track soon. Don't ask me, I have no freaking clue.
What do you think of the philanthropic policy the company has?
It's a policy to reflect my own values, so I personally think it's great.
Do you think the company should expand from just toys?
Sorry, let me get into an executive form here. It's a possibility. Eventually, the question stopped and I was back to being myself. Naomi and Susie were mingling in the crowds and the incubi were doing their job, so I was all alone in a room full of strangers. It was unnerving to think about, but at least I wasn't being questioned left and right anymore. Suddenly, though, my mom pushed her way through the crowd to me, bringing along someone I didn't know.
Honey, I'd like to introduce you to someone. This kind gentleman is the son of the vice chairman.
With my mother stood a man who looked only a couple years older than me. He smiled and held out his hand to me, silently asking for my hand.
Hi, I'm Andrew Lewis. It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Anderson.
As I placed my hand in his, he raised it to his lips and kissed over my knuckles. I felt my face burn slightly at the gesture. Andrew smiled at me before releasing my hand.
I'm honored to be invited here.
My mother smiled at the both of us, which made me slightly concerned. Why was she excited to introduce me to Andrew?
So, you organized this party very well, Miss Anderson. You're welcome. Praise is very much deserved.
Andrew then chuckled nervously, bringing his soft fist to his lips to cover his laugh properly before smiling at me.
I'm sorry if I seem a little forward. I've just been excited to meet Harold Anderson's granddaughter.
Huh? Why?
He used to talk about you all the time in the office on how you helped him refine his toys. I only attended meetings and heard all of the stories. You've helped a lot with the success of the company without having to actually work there.
Oh wow, I didn't know he talked about me. That would explain everyone's fascination with me and their rather personal questions. I looked at Andrew, who had a kind face to me. Something about him seemed off and I didn't know what it was. He seemed to be hiding something. Whether good or bad, I was not able to find out. I felt someone walk up beside me, causing me to turn to them. Next to me was my dad, giving his cold stare to Andrew, who suddenly became tense.
So, you're Jared's son.
Andrew's body twitched slightly. Whether it was fear or insult, Andrew locked eyes with my father. I couldn't help but feel the tension between them. It irked me how fragile the air had become enough to break at the wrong word.
You're the one who wants to be the next CEO of the Anderson Company.
Well...
I stared at Andrew. This guy wanted to take my grandfather's place as CEO? I thought the vice chairman wanted the position.
David, leave the poor boy alone.
I'm merely testing the boy's conversational skills. Nothing wrong with that.
Of course not, sir.
And polite as well. Interesting.
If you'll excuse me.
Quickly, Andrew retreated away from my family into the crowd of people. I quickly followed Andrew, wanting to be sure he was alright. I felt a little embarrassed that my dad put him on the spot like that. I had to apologize, and I had to dig around because this guy might be really suspicious. We wound up outside, in the most romantic spot in the whole place, because that's just where I walked to, naturally, instinctually, if you will. The stars practically danced on the grass as we stood in the backyard of the mansion. Yeah, it'd been my first time in years being out there, but my thoughts weren't on the nostalgia. Hey, Andrew. Andrew turned to me in surprise. However, his face was completely red in both embarrassment and humiliation. I felt terrible.
Oh, I didn't see you or hear you following. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I should be the one to apologize.
What for? You didn't do anything wrong.
You see, my dad's a dick, so I'm just going to let you know that he's a dick to me too, so we have something in common.
Oh no, it's fine. I mean, I should have expected it and been more prepared.
Exactly, he looks like one, so next time just make sure you size someone up. Just kidding, don't judge someone by how they look. Still, I'm sorry for that.
It's not a problem really, but thank you.
We both smiled at each other before I raised my hand out to him. He tilted his head and raised an eyebrow in confusion. Sarah, my name is Sarah. And understanding, his smile returned before he took my hand gently and shook it.
That's a pretty name. I'm happy to know it now.
Nah, it's not that nice.
I have to disagree with you. It's much better than Andrew. I mean, who names their kid Andrew?
I like the name Andrew.
But how about Axel or Ace? Something cool like that.
I don't know anyone named Axel. I couldn't help but laugh at him. He was pretty chill for a guy who was supposed to be a vice chairman's son. He grinned and laughed along with me. I don't know why, but I felt warm. Whatever it was, an almost non-existent breeze or the situation we found ourselves in, it felt nice.
Lewis.
And just like that, the feeling had vanished. We both turned to see my dad at the doors of the mansion, staring at Andrew with an almost deadly stare. Andrew straightened up, trying to maintain a business posture.
Yes, sir?
Your limo is in the front. The driver has requested that you return home. Now.
Oh, all right. Thank you, sir.
Andrew quickly nodded to me before speeding back into the mansion as to leave. As I took a step to follow, my dad stepped in front of me. Dad.
I don't want to hear it. Do not become friendly with him. He wants to take the company away from us. You have no reason to be friends with him.
That's perfect reason to be friends with him. I sighed and entered a house, wanting for the party to end immediately. Eventually, only Susan, Naomi, my parents, and the incubi were left. My dad suddenly walked over and placed a hand on my shoulder with a smile. I stared up at him, a weary bit of confusion washing over my face. What?
You did good tonight. I'm proud.
Oh, thanks.
Keep it up, and you'll be a good CEO.
Yeah.
All right. Your mother and I have to leave.
Achievement
I'm sure
unlocked.
Naomi
Dad
and Susan
approves.
need to leave as well. Just because it's Saturday doesn't mean you should stay up all night.
Right.
Thanks for having us. It was a great party.
We'll come visit tomorrow or something. All right?
Sounds good.
Good night, sweetie. Come visit us soon.
Alright. All 4 of my remaining guests left the building, all but my dad waving back to me. With the last of the guests alone, I sighed and sat on the staircase, exhausted. That was tiring.
It's not like you had to do any work, though.
Give her a break, man. She was getting interrogated left and right.
She handled herself the best she could.
As expected, Princess.
Since you're exhausted, why not head to bed? We can clean up.
Ugh.
Hush, Sam.
Are you guys sure?
Positive. It shouldn't take long.
Ho ho ho! It didn't take
Oh, it's the guy with the laugh. I felt a hot shudder run down my spine. The voice of my dreams echoed through the air into my ears. I looked around, panicked, alongside the incubi. James placed a hand on my shoulder, trying to remain calm.
Don't worry. No one will hurt you.
Are you sure? Are you really sure?
All of us shot our heads towards the doors, finally pinning down the direction of the voice. The doors quickly swung open, revealing a sight I would have never expected to see. And with that, I'm going to end it here. I'm really excited to see the next part. So if you like this, go ahead and leave a like. If you have any suggestions for games, leave them below. And if you would like to subscribe, go ahead. I'd really appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Don't worry. No one will hurt you.
Are you sure? Are you really sure?